Here are the 5 worst dieting mistakes that I see people making when it comes to losing fat and building muscle that are costing you unnecessary amounts of time and energy. Number 1 is taking information from Instagram influencers and Netflix documentaries. First off, let's talk about influencers, because the truth is that when you open your phone, you are served the top 1% of elite physiques out there. And most of them, unfortunately, are on steroids. A lot of them make it seem like buying their workout program or the weird supplements that they're selling are magically going to make you look like them. But unfortunately, that's not the case. So let me be completely honest with you, because I've seen a lot in this fitness industry as a trainer for the past few years, and there is no secret plan. Having a plan is already a lot better than having no plan. I love to sit here and tell you that I'm the best trainer in the world and you should invest in my program and I'm going to get you jacked faster than anyone, but that's simply not true. Even though I'm very confident when it comes to my abilities as a trainer and I invest a lot of time and money every year to improve my skills, having a plan is going to be a lot better for you than having no plan. Most fitness trainers out there will be able to make you a plan that's going to get you results, because it's about having a plan in the first place. Sure, there's small tweaks and optimizations you can make, but at the end of the day, having a plan and consistently following it and making progress is what's going to get you the results. Not some magic formula where you go from 8 reps all the way to 15 reps, then drop down to 20, do 5 push-ups, jump, twirl, and whatever the hell they do. You always want to be wary of who you get your information from, because the truth is, the bar to become a personal trainer is very low. You could get your paper within 6 months, depending on the country, and then suddenly you're a trainer and you're certified to give out advice. A few credible sources you can follow online are Andrew Huberman, Lane Norton, Mike Israetel, Jeff Nippard, and Stacy, what was her name? Stacy Sims when it comes to women. At the end of the day, those are also the people I listen to, because they dedicate their whole life to the research, and I'm simply here to bring the message over in a digestible way. Now, even when they say something, you still don't want to take it as holy scripture. You want to be data-driven, not data-led. Meaning that it's good to be informed on what are the best practices and what are the best ways for you to achieve XYZ, but you don't need to let that or the studies take over your life. Now, when it comes to Netflix documentaries, people can go online, look up studies about things being bad for you for just about anything. Even water. For example, you might have heard of Game Changers, the Netflix documentary where they show how magical the vegan diet is for your health and your performance, and how eating meat is bad for you. Well, this is a very good example of some people cherry picking a few studies that support their beliefs, their opinions, and their hypothesis, and then only showing one part of the data to prove their point. If you want to be vegan, be vegan. Nobody's stopping you. But there's a plethora of studies, as well as thousands of years of evolution, that would argue that we are omnivores and that we would probably do best on a whole diet that includes both meat and also vegetables. Also, what about the part where they talked about gladiators being vegetarian in the past? Like, who came up with that? Even if some of the gladiators did not eat meat, I'm sure that that wasn't by choice. Historically, gladiators were slaves, so they didn't always have access to the best products, best foods, and especially meat, which was more expensive as well. Anyway, talking about influencers, this brings me to my second point. If you see an influencer being too black and white, like saying, oh, carbs are bad for you, this will kill you, or that will kill you, then you know they're probably full of shit. Or it's a gimmick to gain some more traction on social media. And the same goes for you. If you're too black and white in your approach and you suddenly don't eat carbs, or you think that broccoli is gonna kill you, that's going to be very counterproductive in your journey to lose fat or build muscle. Sure, there's guidelines that work for most people, like eating enough protein, sleeping 7 to 9 hours, drinking water, etc. But when it comes to fitness, it's rarely black and white. Now, you might have heard me make fun of bodybuilders and all that, but obviously, if you want to be a bodybuilder, that still works. It just doesn't resonate with me. So don't worry about certain foods trying to kill you, and do your best to eat a whole food diet with nutrient-dense foods, prioritizing proteins, lean proteins if possible, meaning with less fat, and veggies. And if you go out on the weekend and you have some fries and a Coke Zero, whatever. Wake up the next day and get back on track. Now, the third biggest mistake I see is people fussing about the small stuff, like whether they ate 5 or 10 grams of protein less than they should have, or they want to add some cayenne pepper in the yogurt to boost their metabolism, or add a pinch of salt or lemon in the water to have more energy. Come on, do you really think half a gram of salt or lemon is gonna have any significant impact on your whole body and your health? Probably not. The full picture of what your entire diet and your lifestyle looks like is gonna have a way bigger impact than whether you added a pinch of cayenne pepper to your yogurt. Then when it comes to the reps and the sets, whether you do 8 reps or 10 reps or 15 reps, honestly, it doesn't really matter that much. Listen, it all comes down to volume management. If you train once a week, that's probably not gonna be enough volume, and doing 1 or 2 or 3 sets won't give you much results. If you train 5 or 6 times a week and you end up doing 4 or 5 sets per exercise every time, and you're not sleeping, let's say 7 to 9 hours, that's gonna be too much volume, you're gonna be under recovering, and you're also not gonna see progress. You can only train as hard as you can recover. Meeting it somewhere in the middle is ultimately gonna work best. Start somewhere, work out 2, 3 times a week, 3, 4 sets, and then from there, just apply the principle of progressive overload and try to do more every time and track your progress. If you're not seeing progress, something needs to change. Maybe you need to recover more or you need to train more, but it's gonna come down to you testing something and tracking, trial and error. What people also fuss about is supplements. Let me be clear, you don't need supplements. Yes, they help, like protein powder is gonna be incredibly useful if you wanna eat some more protein per day, because it just put a scoop in your water or in your shake and you've got 20, 25 grams of protein. And creatine can also help you to improve your performance in the gym a little bit, give you some more energy, build some muscle, and it's also said to have some cognitive benefits. So these, sure, you can use. For the rest, maybe if you're more advanced, some omega-3s can help, some magnesium, hell, even a vitamin D if you live like a country with not much sun like the Netherlands, which has been having a lot of sun lately, which is great. But other than that, the basics are what's going to work best. Training, diet, sleep, not a pill that you take on a daily basis. Number 4 is trying to do things too fast. For example, by eating 1,200 calories, which is not enough food for any adult male, and surprisingly, even for most adult females. A solid rate of fat loss to aim for per week is up to 1% of your total body weight per week. Because if you have more fat to lose, yes, you can do it at a bit faster rate, especially at the start. So up to 1% of fat loss per week. If you want to build muscle, you want to aim for 1% of body weight gain per month. So as you can see, fat loss can happen a lot faster than muscle building. And you can maybe put on a little bit more than 1%, like 1.25% per month, and that will still be a mix of muscle and more water through water retention and glycogen stores in your muscles. But you gain much more than that in a month, and it's going to be fat as well. There is a biological cap to it. Unless you take some supplements, if you know what I'm talking about. But that's something you should absolutely not do, because it's going to be terrible for your health. The list of side effects is endless. There's a high chance you're not going to be able to have kids, and you might even die prematurely. So what's the damn point of being a walking fridge with no neck that breaks all the headphones he puts on because his straps are just too big, only to end up dying of a heart attack at 30. And there is a wave right now of young guys taking steroids because of insecurities and what they see being pushed on social media, and they don't even know the consequences. So this needs to stop. That was a tangent. Anyways, back to the rates of fat loss. Here's a framework I want you to use. You're going to download a food logging app like Yazio, MyFitnessPal, whatever you want to use. You're going to go through the setup questions, and it's going to give you a calorie goal. I want you to hit that calorie goal every day for 7 days. Then you're also going to weigh yourself for 7 days and also take a waist measurement at the end of the week maybe. See what happens. If your weight stayed the same, that means you're not in a calorie deficit and you can reduce your calories by about 10%. Then you just repeat the next week. What happened? Did you lose weight? Great. You found exactly how many calories you need to eat to be in a calorie deficit, so keep doing what you're doing. And if a week goes by and you gain weight, you know you need to track those extra drinks you're having on the weekend. Every week you measure and you adjust according to what your stats do. And if you need some help with that, it's exactly what I do with all of my clients as well, so let me know. Now this brings me to the final mistake, but this is also without a doubt the most common dieting mistake I see, and this is underestimating your calorie intake. Studies have shown it, but I also see it every single week with my clients. Most people vastly underestimate how many calories they eat on a weekly basis because you could be eating fewer meals or smaller portions and still not lose weight or even gain weight simply because the caloric content of what you're eating is so high. A very common one I see is nuts. A lot of my clients who were snacking on nuts, I had them tracking and realized they were eating 500-600 calories a day extra in nuts. And they asked me, but I thought nuts were healthy. What's going on? It's crazy. And I said, yeah, they are. Most of them have a lot of omega-3s, which are good for your brain as well, but they also have a lot of fats because of that. They're high in calories. And ultimately, you could eat 1,000 apples for all I care. Apples are healthy for you. If you eat 1,000 apples a day, you're bound to gain weight. And this is why I'm such a big fan of tracking your food, because it is so incredibly insightful that it's going to teach you more about nutrition and about what your body needs more than any other course or trainer could ever teach you, because you're experiencing it yourself and you develop the skill of intuition, learning exactly how much to eat to reach your goals and how much your body needs to eat to maintain your weight in the long term. After you do this for a while, you're going to learn how to estimate the portion sizes that are right for your body and your goals. The key to transforming your body and your health is education, understanding how everything works, which is why I've created a 31-day email series to teach you everything you're going to need. It's completely for free, and over the next 30 days, it's gonna teach you everything you need to know to transform your body, drastically improve your health, get stronger, fitter, without all the bullshit. You can find the link in the description. And for the people who just wanna get started right away and work with a trainer, I've also put a link in the description with my services.